Fix yourself before it's too late. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to speak to the part of you that yearns for change, the part that knows there's more to life, more to who you are, and more to what you can become. We often look outside ourselves for solutions. We want better jobs, better relationships, and a better world. But what if the answer doesn't lie outside at all? What if just maybe the key is in each one of us? Today, I want you to consider this thought: fix yourself before it's too late. Each of us carries dreams, talents, and potential within us, but sometimes we bury them beneath excuses. We say, I'll change when I have time, or it's just too hard right now, but there's power in taking accountability right now. If you wait for the perfect moment, it may never come. The time to start is now. Have you ever just sat with yourself? No distractions, no excuses. I mean, really sat with yourself? Reflection true. Deep reflection requires courage. It demands that we face not only who we are, but also who we're becoming. And let me tell you, facing yourself is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but it's also one of the most empowering. Because once you see where you stand, you can see where you need to stand. We all have struggles. We all carry hurt. And sometimes we bury those wounds so deep we forget they're even there. But hiding our pain doesn't make it disappear. It only weakens us. Embrace vulnerability. It's not a weakness. It's a doorway to healing. When we're willing to confront our pain, we take the first step toward breaking free from it. Excuses, oh, we love them, don't we? I'm too busy, it's too late, I'm too scared. Excuses are nothing more than stories we tell ourselves. And here's the truth: those stories are the walls keeping us from our potential. Break those walls down. Your time and energy are precious, and they're meant for greater things. And remember, this journey isn't something we achieve in a single day or even a single year. It's a commitment to growth. Each day, commit to being just a little better than you were the day before. Take small steps, but take them consistently. In the end, this steady growth will transform you in ways you can't even imagine. When we put in the work to fix ourselves, we uncover our purpose. Purpose is what drives us forward, keeps us focused, and fills our lives with meaning. When you discover your purpose, you find that you're not only living for yourself, but for something much bigger. You're shaping your life, your world, and the world around you. So today, I urge each of you, take that first step. Face yourself, embrace your journey, let go of those excuses, and dig deep to find your purpose. Fix yourself before it's too late, because the world needs you at your best. And if you start today, you'll find that not only can you make a difference, you can be the difference. The power of accountability. Let me tell you, accountability is one of the most powerful tools we have. It's one of those things that can elevate us, pull us up from our lowest points, and push us toward our greatest potential. Yet too often we avoid it. Why? Because it's hard. Accountability requires us to look at ourselves, really look. It asks us to drop our defenses, to silence the excuses, and to take ownership of our choices, our actions, and our lives. And let's be real, that's uncomfortable, it's challenging, but it is also incredibly liberating. Accountability doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything. It doesn't mean taking on more than you deserve or drowning in guilt. No, true accountability is about self-awareness. It's about recognizing that, yes, we are the architects of our lives. The choices we make today shape who we are tomorrow. When we acknowledge that something amazing happens, we realize that if we don't like where we are, we have the power to change it. Think about that for a moment. How often have you found yourself stuck in a situation and said, well, that's just how it is, or there's nothing I can do about it? But what if, instead of pointing fingers, we started asking, what could I do differently? What did I do to contribute to this, and how can I do better next time? It's about looking at the role we play in every moment of our lives, not because we're blaming ourselves, but because we're taking our power back. See, accountability is freeing because it puts the power in our hands. When we stop giving our power away to circumstances, to other people, to our own fears, we start to see a shift. We stop feeling like victims of life and begin to feel like creators. It's like stepping into the driver's seat of your own life. Now you're the one with the wheel. You're the one navigating. And with that comes a sense of control, of strength, and a purpose. And here's another thing about accountability: it builds integrity. When we hold ourselves accountable, we're showing up for ourselves. We're saying, I respect myself enough to be honest, to do better, to keep growing. And that kind of integrity is powerful. It doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone around you. When people see you taking ownership of your actions, it inspires them. It shows them that change is possible. It shows them that they too can take control of their lives. But here's the catch: accountability isn't a one-time thing. It's not something we do once and forget about. It's a daily practice. It's something we have to commit to again and again, even on the days when it's hard, even on the days when we'd rather avoid it. And trust me, there will be those days. There will be days when you feel like giving in to the excuses, when you'd rather blame someone else or just walk away. But those are the moments that matter most, because those are the moments that define us. Accountability asks us to be brave. It asks us to confront our fears, our doubts, and our mistakes. And it asks us to do it all with grace, because here's the truth: we're going to make mistakes. We're going to fall short sometimes. That's part of being human. But accountability is what helps us learn from those moments. It's what helps us turn our setbacks into stepping stones, our failures into lessons. It's what turns our pain into growth. So, my friends, when we talk about accountability, we're not just talking about taking responsibility for what we do. We're talking about taking responsibility for who we are becoming. We're talking about choosing to live consciously, to be present, and to own our journey. It's about saying, I am here, I am awake, and I am willing to learn. It's about embracing our power and knowing that we are capable of change, of growth, of greatness. Accountability is our path to becoming our best selves. And when we commit to it, when we honor it, when we live by it, there is nothing we cannot achieve. The habit of reflection. Reflection is a practice that connects us to ourselves. And in our busy, fast-paced world, it's a practice that's more essential than ever. Yet so many of us skip it. We get so caught up in our routines, our to-do lists, our goals, and our daily struggles that we forget to stop, breathe, and simply ask ourselves, how am I really doing? What am I really feeling? Where am I truly headed? Reflection is the key to clarity, but it's something we have to make a habit of. Because let me tell you, clarity doesn't just happen on its own. You know, when we take time to reflect, we're giving ourselves a gift. We're saying, I matter enough to pause. I matter enough to listen to myself. It's about stepping back and looking at our lives from a different perspective. When we look in the mirror, not just at our faces, but deep within ourselves, we begin to see what's working and what's not. We start to notice the patterns that repeat, the feelings we keep pushing down, and the dreams we've put on hold. Reflection helps us get honest, and honesty with ourselves can be one of the hardest things to practice. It takes courage to look in the mirror and see things for what they really are, not what we wish they were or pretend they are. But in that honesty, there is freedom. In that honesty, we find the seeds of real change. Because you can't change what you don't acknowledge. You can't grow if you don't know what's holding you back. When we make reflection a habit, it becomes a compass. It's what keeps us on track. Think about it. When you're constantly checking in with yourself, you're not drifting aimlessly through life. You're grounded, you're connected to your purpose, and you're aligned with what truly matters to you. Reflection reminds you of who you are, who you were, and who you're striving to become. It's a process of honoring your past, embracing your present, and envisioning your future. Now, reflection doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't require hours and hours of meditation or a trip to a mountaintop. It's as simple as taking a few minutes each day to sit with yourself, maybe in the morning when everything is quiet, or at night when the world slows down. Just a few moments to ask, how am I showing up in my life? Am I aligned with my values? What can I do differently tomorrow? Small questions, simple questions, but they can open up whole worlds of insight. And let me tell you something, reflection isn't always comfortable. Sometimes we uncover parts of ourselves we'd rather ignore. Sometimes we see the fear, the insecurity, or the regrets we've buried. But here's the beauty of it, those uncomfortable truths are our teachers. They show us where we still have room to grow. They show us where we need healing. Reflection is like shining a light into the hidden corners of our minds, and in those corners we often find our greatest opportunities for growth. Letting go of excuses. Letting go of excuses is one of the most powerful shifts we can make in our lives. Now, I know it's easy to hold on to those reasons, those stories we tell ourselves about why we can't do something, why we haven't started yet, or why things just aren't possible for us. Excuses become our comfort zone, a place we retreat to when things get hard, when the path isn't clear, or when we're afraid to fail. But here's the truth, those excuses are keeping us small. They are holding us back from everything we are truly capable of. Think about it, every excuse we make is like a wall we put up. And with each excuse, we're closing a door to possibility, to growth, to success. We say things like, I don't have time, or I'm just not ready, or I'll get to it someday. But the truth is, someday doesn't exist. All we have is today, and if we don't choose to act now, we'll look back years from now with a heart full of regret, wondering what could have been. When we let go of excuses, we step into our power, because excuses keep us playing small. They convince us that we're not in control, that we're victims of our circumstances, or that we don't have the resources we need to make a change. But I'm here to tell you, you are more powerful than any excuse. You have more strength, more resilience, and more potential than you even realize. But you can only tap into that power when you stop making excuses and start making decisions. Letting go of excuses is an act of courage. It's admitting to ourselves that we are responsible for our lives. That's a big thing. It's not easy to look in the mirror and say, I am where I am because of the choices I've made. But it's also freeing, because if we're responsible for where we are now, we're also responsible for where we're going. That means we have the power to change our path, to make different choices, and to create a life that aligns with our deepest desires. You know, letting go of excuses doesn't just change what we do, it changes who we become. We become people who take ownership of our lives, who believe in our own potential, who are willing to face challenges head on. We become resilient because we're no longer held back by our own doubts and fears. We become courageous because we know that we are stronger than any obstacle in our way. We become empowered because we know that we are in control of our own destiny. Commitment to self-growth. Now, there is something transformative about the commitment to self-growth. It's more than just wanting to change. It's about making a conscious, unwavering decision to show up for ourselves every single day. This commitment means deciding, no matter what life throws our way, I'm going to keep growing. It means we stop settling, we stop accepting the old stories we've told ourselves, and we start becoming the person we're meant to be. Committing to self-growth is a bold declaration to the world and to ourselves that we're here to evolve, to learn, and to become our best selves. Let me tell you, growth isn't always easy. Self-growth is not the kind of journey you embark on lightly. It requires effort, it demands patience, and it insists on consistency. But the rewards, because every step you take, every small effort you make is an investment in the person you're becoming. It's about realizing that every day, every choice, every thought is an opportunity to become a little wiser, a little stronger, a little more aligned with your true purpose. And commitment to self-growth isn't just a phase or a trend, it's a lifelong journey. It's a decision you make again and again, even on the days when it feels hard, even on the days when progress seems slow. Because those are the moments that matter the most. Those are the moments that define us. When we stay committed to growing, even when it's tough, we build resilience. We start to see that setbacks are not failures, they're lessons. They're part of the process, shaping us, refining us, teaching us things we couldn't learn any other way. Self-growth requires us to be intentional. It's about saying, I choose to live my life on purpose. I choose to be present. I choose to show up as the person I want to be. And that kind of intention is powerful. It's what keeps us from just going through the motions. It's what keeps us aligned with our highest values and our deepest goals. When we live with intention, every day becomes an opportunity to practice, to improve, and to grow just a little bit more. Now, self-growth also requires humility, because let's face it, we all have things we need to work on. We all have areas where we fall short, areas where we struggle, areas that we'd sometimes rather ignore. But committing to self-growth means having the courage to look at those parts of ourselves, the parts that aren't perfect, the parts that make mistakes, the parts that sometimes feel small. And instead of judging ourselves or hiding from those parts, we choose to work on them. We choose to love ourselves enough to say, I can do better, and I will do better. And let me tell you, when we make that commitment to ourselves, something magical happens. We start to attract people, opportunities, and experiences that align with our growth. It's as if the universe itself starts to respond to our energy. When we commit to growth, we're telling the world, I am ready. I am ready for more. I am ready to live fully. And the world answers. It brings us teachers. It brings us challenges. It brings us exactly what we need to keep moving forward. Commitment to self-growth also teaches us compassion. Because when you're truly committed to your own growth, you begin to understand that everyone else is on their journey too. You start to see people through the lens of grace. You realize that we're all doing the best we can, and that just as you're working on yourself, others are working on themselves too. This compassion helps us release judgment to be kinder and to encourage growth in others. And that's a beautiful thing, because our growth inspires growth in others. We become living examples of what's possible. And let's talk about accountability, because self-growth asks us to hold ourselves accountable, to take responsibility for our choices and our actions. It's about saying, I am responsible for my life, for my happiness, for my success. It's about not waiting for someone else to come and save us or waiting for the perfect conditions to begin. Self-growth is proactive. It's a commitment to creating the life we want, not by chance, but by choice. You see, when we commit to self-growth, we're planting seeds. Seeds that may not blossom right away, but that will, in time, grow into something incredible. And we water those seeds with every act of kindness, every moment of self-care, every decision to keep going, every choice to show up fully. And as we nurture those seeds, we begin to see the fruits of our commitment. We begin to feel more aligned, more fulfilled, more at peace. We start to see that the growth we've cultivated within us begins to reflect in every area of our lives. And let's not forget, self-growth is about embracing our own potential. It's about looking at ourselves and saying, there is greatness within me. It's not about being perfect. It's not about never making mistakes. It's about striving to be the best version of ourselves, knowing that we're worth the effort. It's about unlocking the gifts, talents, and strengths that have always been there, waiting for us to recognize them. Self-growth is the process of becoming who we were always meant to be. So when we talk about commitment to self-growth, we're talking about a promise we make to ourselves, a promise to honor our journey, to respect our progress, and to keep moving forward, no matter how slow the pace may seem. It's a promise to be kind to ourselves, to believe in ourselves, and to never, ever give up on ourselves. And here's the beauty of it all. As we grow, we begin to see that our journey of self-growth is a gift to the world. Because as we become more whole, more fulfilled, more aligned, we are able to show up for others in ways we couldn't before. We become sources of light, of strength, of love. And that's the incredible thing about self-growth. It doesn't just transform our own lives. It touches everyone around us. It ripples out, creating waves of positive change, lifting others up, inspiring them to grow too. So let us commit today and every day to this path of self-growth. Let us honor the process, embrace the journey, and keep moving forward one step at a time. Because as we grow, we become the people we were always meant to be. And that, my friends, is a journey worth taking. Finding your purpose. Finding your purpose is one of the greatest journeys of life. It's that feeling deep down that there's something more, something bigger calling you. Purpose is what gives meaning to our days, what makes us feel alive, what drives us when things get tough. But here's the thing, purpose isn't something that just lands in your lap one day. It's something you discover through exploration, through listening to yourself, and through paying attention to what moves your spirit. You see, purpose is about connection to yourself, to others, and to the world around you. It's that spark inside that keeps calling, even when you're not sure what it's saying. It's that sense of knowing that there's something special, something unique, that only you can bring to the world. Finding your purpose requires courage because it asks us to be real, to be vulnerable, and to look within. And in today's world, where we're so distracted by outside noise, by other people's expectations, by all the shoulds and musts, it can be easy to lose sight of that inner calling. But make no mistake, purpose is there. It's always there, waiting for you to hear it. Sometimes it's a whisper, sometimes it's a quiet nudge, and sometimes it comes through as a longing you can't quite explain. Finding your purpose is about learning to trust that voice, to listen to it, to follow it, even when the path isn't clear. Because purpose isn't always a straight line. Sometimes it's a winding road, and sometimes we have to go through a lot of detours, challenges, and setbacks to find it. But when you find it, when you're living from that place of purpose, there's nothing like it. Purpose is about understanding that you have something to give. We all do. We each have our own unique gifts, our own set of talents, our own story. And when we begin to see those gifts, when we start to embrace them, we start to realize that our purpose is not just about us. It's about how we can contribute, how we can impact others, how we can make a difference. Purpose is that beautiful intersection between what lights you up and what the world needs. And when you find it, it changes everything. Finding your purpose also means letting go of comparison. It's so easy to look around and think, well, she's doing this or he's achieved that. But comparison is a thief of purpose. It pulls us away from our own unique path and distracts us from the voice within. Each of us is here for a reason, and that reason is uniquely our own. Your purpose is yours to find, and it won't look like anyone else's. So let's celebrate that uniqueness. Let's embrace the fact that we each have something special to give and that the world needs us just as we are. Purpose requires patience too. It's not something you always find overnight. It's a journey that can take time, and that's okay. We don't have to have it all figured out right away. Sometimes purpose unfolds little by little, step by step, as we go through life, learning, growing, and discovering more about ourselves. It's about being open, about saying, I may not know my purpose yet, but I'm willing to explore. I'm willing to try new things. I'm willing to follow where my heart leads. Purpose isn't something we achieve, it's something we live. And every step we take brings us a little closer to understanding why we're here. Finding your purpose also means embracing your passions. Think about the things that make you feel alive, the things that bring you joy, the things you can get lost in for hours. Purpose is often hidden in those passions, those moments of flow, those things you can't help but care deeply about. When we pay attention to our passions, we're paying attention to the clues, the little signs that guide us closer to our purpose. And when we follow those passions, even if they don't make sense to anyone else, we start to see our path a little more clearly. And here's something else: purpose isn't just about finding one big thing. Sometimes we think that purpose has to be a grand mission or a life-changing vision. But purpose can be found in the small moments, too, in the way we treat others, in the kindness we show, in the way we lift people up. Purpose can be found in our everyday interactions, in the way we choose to live our lives, in the values we stand by. When we live with intention, when we choose to bring love, compassion, and authenticity into every moment, we're living a life of purpose. Purpose also asks us to be resilient, because when you're on a path toward purpose, there will be challenges. There will be days when you doubt yourself, when things don't go as planned, when you feel like giving up. But purpose is what keeps you going. It's the fuel that reminds you why you started, the light that guides you through the darkest moments when we're connected to our. In the end, finding your purpose is about coming home to yourself. It's about peeling back the layers, letting go of what doesn't serve you, and embracing the path that feels true to who you are. It's about trusting that you are here for a reason, that your life has meaning, and that the world needs the gifts only you can bring. Purpose isn't a destination, it's a way of being. It's the courage to live fully, the commitment to keep growing, and the choice to make a difference, no matter how small. So let's walk this path with open hearts and open minds. Let's honor the journey, knowing that every experience, every challenge, every success brings us closer to living in alignment with our true selves. Because when we live with purpose, we become a source of light, not only for ourselves, but for everyone we touch. And that, my friends, is the most beautiful gift we can give to the world. Let's step into our purpose, knowing that it's never too late to start, and that each of us is exactly where we need to be.